channel. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Now, like I said in my welcome video, this channel really is all about talking about things that affect us in everyday life, like work and relationships and money, you know, that type of stuff. So I just thought to start off talking about my career journey so far. So I work in the media industry in Nigeria. I've worked both in radio and in publishing. I work in publishing currently, but I worked in radio for 3 years in Lagos, and it's been very interesting. To be honest, I get a lot of questions, you know, people who want to work in the media, or you know, maybe sometimes students who are studying media related courses, they always kind of want to know, like, what's it been like, you know, what's your everyday actually like, the myths that you hear about the media industry. You know, people just want to know actually like what's up. And so I just love to talk about my journey and share my experience and possibly even a few lessons I've learned. So this is pretty much my journey. In university, I studied media and communications, and I did that because I always knew I wanted to work in the media industry, but I didn't know exactly in what area or in what field. So I just thought, okay, let me do something that's a bit broad that I can then like specialize later on in just one thing. But I knew very early on in life that I wanted to work in radio from maybe about age 16. So friends that knew me then, I would do really silly things like sit down at the other side of the room. There'll be like a barrier between me and my friend, and I would be pretending, you know, that I had a show, and you know, calling time and saying welcome and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool, you know, that's what I wanted to do. So in uni, I went ahead, studied media and communications, and specifically when I was looking for a university, I wanted one that had a radio station. So that was very particular to me. So just after my A levels, I started looking for, or during my A levels rather, I started looking for universities that had radio stations particularly. And I eventually went to Canterbury Christchurch University in the UK, in Kent, and it had a radio station on campus. So that was a really great opportunity. That was a really great experience because I worked there for 2 years. So that was my initial introduction into radio and part of the media world. And it was very interesting because for the first year, essentially what I did was I shadowed other people's shows, you know, different types of shows at different times of the day, morning shows, late night shows, that kind of stuff. And then by the second year, I got invited by one of them to co-host the show with him. So it was a very, very interesting show. Not really the kind of thing we do in Nigeria. It was indie music, you know, stuff I had never heard. And that was just so interesting because I was just introduced to a brand new like genre of music that I had never heard before, folk and all these kinds of stuff. But apart from that, I really got first-hand experience of what it's like to go live and talk to a certain amount of people. Granted, it was a community radio station, so it was a bit smaller than you would have with like a radio station here, like a bigger radio station, but still it prepared me, I would say, to then move on to a bigger platform. So I graduated in 2015, and then I knew I wanted to work in Nigeria. I was grateful to have gone to school abroad, but I knew I wanted to work in Nigeria. So literally about a week after my graduation, I was back in Lagos. And about a week after I was back in Lagos, I started working at City FM in Lagos. And honestly, it's one of the best, or was one of the best experiences of my life. I learned so much, and I worked there for 3 years. So I got the opportunity to do so much, you know. I was able to do an early morning show, I was able to do an afternoon show, I was able to do shows on Sundays. You know, it was really great. So I hosted the Saturday breakfast show for a while. That was 6 to 9 a.m. And then I hosted a late Sunday evening show called Singspiration, which was amazing. It was a mix of inspirational music and, or rather, gospel music and inspiration. So I loved that. And then on Mondays, I hosted a show called Let's Talk Women, which was great because it was a 1-hour talk show. We got to talk about everything from, you know, man matter, to be honest, to bigger issues that affect women, like health issues, economic issues, what's going on in certain parts of the world, issues affecting women in certain parts of the world. It was amazing. And then it was also great to interact with people that take the time to listen to your show. So that was awesome. Yeah, that was for 3 years. Side by side, very, very interestingly, side by side, I was working first of all for Cosmopolitan, which is an international magazine, but they had a digital magazine. They launched a digital magazine in Lagos. So I worked as an assistant editor there for about 2 years. Yeah, I worked there for about 2 full years, and it was great. It was nice to work for an international organization and see the way abroad people do it. I was hired by someone who is now a person I really respect and I really admire. Sisi Yemi, she was my boss and she was amazing. And that was for 2 years, but eventually, unfortunately, that closed down. Very shortly after, I started working with Chic Magazine, which I work with now. Chic Magazine is a fashion, beauty, and lifestyle magazine based in Lagos, and it's no doubt the best magazine in Nigeria. And the reason I'm saying that is not because I work there, but it's because it's a very forward-thinking Pan-African magazine. So we are pushing and promoting local content, but with an international perspective. And that's why it's so fantastic. So these are the 3 jobs I've had in essentially the last 4 years, sometimes combining both, right? But right now I just strictly work in publishing, which I love. And I think it's important to realize that we don't have to narrow ourselves down or box ourselves in, like, I'm doing photography now and I love it, but I don't ever want to do anything else because I want people to take me seriously. Or I think, like Michelle Obama said in her book Becoming, which is a fantastic book, by the way. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend reading that book. She said something which I thought was so profound. She said, when people ask children, what do you want to become in future? She thinks it's such an irrelevant question because we are constantly becoming different things. So you might change your mind about what you want to do in 5 years' time. All right. And there's nothing wrong with that. It might be in the same field. It might be in a different field. You might be working in advertising now, and 5 years down the line you think, oh well, you know what, no, I want to try my hands at fashion designing. And then 10 years down the line you say, oh well, I want to start my own film production company. The options are limitless, and I just think it's time that we should stop boxing ourselves in and really just do what you love and what you're passionate about. Of course, as long as it also pays the bills, because we cannot pretend that that's not important. You know what I mean? And that was a realization that I had to come to, that it's okay to move on from something. Okay, you might have wanted to do something all your life, and then eventually another opportunity comes and you take it. You don't have to feel guilty about it or feel like you betrayed your calling or you betrayed yourself. No, the only thing constant in life is change and growth. So really, that's my career story, and I think that realization has helped me because moving forward, I feel like I have more freedom to take opportunities and take risks and take chances. So yes, I think we need to free ourselves when it comes to that. And that pretty much is my media journey so far. It's only been 4 years. I haven't worked in this industry for a long time, but I've also been blessed with fantastic opportunities and meeting fantastic people. And sometimes people just think, you work in the media, all you do is play, or you work on radio. Don't you people just come to work and talk? And it's like, no, to be honest, there's so much that goes into that. Maybe I'll break that down in another video. There's so much that goes into it. I mean, working in the media is fun. You get to meet lots of people, you get to be involved in a lot of events typically, but it's still work at the end of the day. Like I always say, anything that you have to do for money, any that you have to wake up, bath, enter your car, enter bus and go, it's fun, yes, but it's also work. So don't let anybody fool you. If you're watching this video right now and maybe you're still a student or you're considering working in the media, by all means, you know, I say go for it, but don't think that it's the easy way out. Like, oh, I don't want to be a banker, I just want to be a media person. No, it's work. So that's my story. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Please share with your friends, like this video, subscribe, help our hustle. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.